This game played out exactly like I thought it would. It was going to be a battle. It was going to be a bloodbath. And there would be one team to step up and make the game-changing play. There were opportunities for both teams to make that play multiple times. But at the end of it, the Falcons did what they needed to do, and they came away with the win as they were desperate at home because they didn't want to start the season off 0-2. But I look at this game, and yes, I'm disappointed. I am. I'm disappointed, and it sucks, but I'm not discouraged. If anything, this team showed me something late. This team showed me fight, and with all the injuries, all 3,753 guys that fell today in the Eagles uniform, we were still there late. We still had a chance. I am not discouraged with this September loss. This is weird for me. It's different for me because normally when the Eagles lose, my face is all red. I'm screaming. I'm throwing punches. And it wasn't like that for me. Yes, I thought that there were chances where the Eagles should have won this game. They had the lead late. Nelson Agholor, I'm going to be honest with you. Did he cost us the game there late? Maybe. Maybe. Probably. But there are so many plays in the football game, I can't just look at that one and say that was automatically it because we had a terrible first half, because we made a ton of mistakes, because our offensive line got abused, and what the hell was Agholor doing there today? There were so many plays that affected the outcome of this game. But I look back at it, and I look at the compete level, and I look at what this team did without Desean Jackson, without Alshon Jeffery, without Dallas Goedert, losing Clement. I mean, that dude's shoulder was literally hanging off of his body, and he fumbled the football in the beginning of the first half. With everything we faced today in terms of adversity, we had the game. We had the game. And yes, it sucked that we didn't finish the job, but I'm not discouraged with a September loss. How many times do you see the New England Patriots, and I'm not saying we are the New England Patriots, but how many times do they start out slow in September, and everyone says, oh, this isn't it, this team's falling apart, and then what happens? When it actually matters, when it's January, when it's those months, they are on an elite tear. This loss in September, yeah, it stings right now. We're in the moment. This is the natural reaction. The game just finished. I didn't even hear Doug Peterson speak. Yeah, it stings. But I know this team is good. Now, I'm concerned because Tim Jernigan also left the game, and apparently he was in a boot afterwards. Where are we in terms of these injuries? So for the future, yeah, I'm a little bit concerned, but I still know what this team has internally and the fight that they have and the plays Carson Wentz was making down the stretch. I mean, he might have his signature play with that throw where his knee was almost down and he released the football. You see these plays he's making, and it just brings back that insane year that he had, and we know it's still in there. He just needs to find it more consistently. Now, I rambled on so much about this game that I forgot to tell you that I can give you free money. That's right. You can use the SeatGeek promo code BROADS, so you will receive $20 off of your tickets when you purchase them off SeatGeek. Make sure you get yourself to a game because you can be in an environment where you watched a similar football game to what we just had on display. Now, that was so entertaining. That was a bloodbath, all right? I tip my cap to the Falcons for finding a way to grind that out, but you got to give respect to everyone on that field. They left everything out there. That felt almost like a playoff game, and how ironic that the Eagles had a chance to win the game on fourth down by the end zone, and they came up just short. That's what happened to the Falcons over the last couple seasons. Zach Ertz caught the ball maybe a half inch shy of the sticks there, which sucks because why was his route short like that? It was a game where I don't think the Eagles should have even been in play. They didn't even deserve to be in there late, and that's why I have to credit them for still being involved late. They should not have been even close to winning that game, and they had a 20-17 lead late in the fourth quarter. Now, I look at Doug Peterson, and there are some question marks. Not in terms of job security or whatever, because I think he does a great job with other things outside of runs and passes in terms of the percentage on what we're doing here. We threw the ball 50, and we're running the ball 20. Well, what's that going to give you? And this is the weirdest thing. Without our top guys, we were using J.J. Arcega-Whiteside, Mac Hollins, Nelson Agholor. Those were our receivers, and we're still throwing, and against a team where they're not good against the run. But here's where I tip my cap to the Falcons, because they demolished our offensive line today. They did, and that was a factor in why we couldn't get anything going with the run game. Now, I don't think Doug called enough runs, but at the same time, their defensive front demolished our offensive line. That was the worst I've seen our offensive line play in so long. I mean, that's truly disturbing to see how they got pushed around at times. Carson Wentz was running for his life, and he was making plays happen because he finds ways to escape the pocket and do crazy things. Late, not so much in the first half, but late, you got to give credit to the Falcons' defensive line. But the big play, and I talked about the one play that changed the game, when the Eagles had a 20-17 lead, because Carson goes on that crazy drive, he's sneaking the ball, he gets in. Matt Ryan noticed the blitz, and he put that little bubble screen over to Julio Jones, and bang, there's that 50-plus yard touchdown and a beautiful block by one of their big men. That was a play that was fantastic by Matt Ryan, and he struggled once we were bringing pressure. Now, Jim Schwartz finally brought pressure, and that forced Matt Ryan to throw so many interceptions, and then the pressure costed us. But you know what? I'll live and die with that, because we wouldn't have even been in that situation if Jim Schwartz didn't bring pressure, and we know that he doesn't do that. Now, there are stats to show you that when it comes to Matt Ryan, for some reason, Jim Schwartz loves to bring the blitz more than anybody else. So when we play Matt Ryan, he's known to bring it a little more. We live and die with it. It costed us eventually there late, but it was the only reason why we were in the game. The defense held the offense in this. Now, Ronald Darby got waxed so many times. They were trying to abuse him. He ended up getting an interception. So did Sidney Jones, and so did Gary, of all people. But he got abused all game long. All game long. All game long. What I saw out of Ronald Darby, now that might be discouraging. Seriously, that might be discouraging. I did not like what I saw out of them. So it's weird because he was so bad, and there were some plays defensively that were so bad. But as a big picture, the defense was the reason why we were involved in this game. I'm not giving the team a pass because there are things we need to fix. Once again, we didn't score in the first quarter. Why? Why does that keep happening? Why is that a common theme with this team? What's up with the scripted plays? Do we have to figure that out? What is Mike Groh's situation here? Because last year, I looked at it and say, all right, Mike Groh and Doug P., what are we drawing up? When Frank Reich was here, we had no problem. Frank Reich leaves, now we're having issues with scoring points in the first quarter. Carson wasn't strong, and he missed so many throws. He threw interceptions. He threw interceptions to guys who were on the field sitting down because he fell, and it plops right in onto his lap there. So Carson was fantastic late and showed some sort of insane level of determination there. Let's get that straight. He showed a warrior mentality late in that game to not give up in the battle, and that late drive to put us up 2017. So sick. I mean, he was so good in that stretch. And even late, it's crazy how much the narrative changes if Nelson Agholor takes that to the house. It's, wow, look what Carson Wentz did. But because he drops it, you don't look at it the same. But he wasn't perfect. He was bad late, and that does need to be, or he was bad early, and that does need to be fixed. He was all over the place. He missed Nelson Agholor in the end zone at one point. That has to change. There was a moment, though, where Doug Peterson, and I know I ripped him apart for the pass run thing, and we've done that in the past, and we know he can get pass happy. There was one moment in this game, though, where I realized this is the difference in what type of coach that we have. I couldn't believe this. It was 4th and goal, and it was around the 4-yard line. We could have kicked a field goal to make it an 8-point game, a one-possession game. With the way this offense has been playing, with how banged up we are, you would think you would take that. He goes for it. Now, he goes for it, and we score. We end up going for 2. Carson was ruled down because he gave himself up, which is a new rule, which sucks. We made it a 5-point game at that point. I believe that every single coach in the league at that point would have kicked the field goal to make it an 8-point game. That is the difference with Doug Peterson. That is the difference. And it's a winning mentality. You live and die with the aggressiveness. It's insane. I truly believe he would be the only coach to put that type of pressure on that offense to go in there and get that touchdown. You make it a 5-point game. We thought we made it a 3-point game with that 2-point conversion, but I couldn't believe it. At the time, even me, I'm sitting there, and I'm saying, kick the field goal, Doug. Kick the field goal, Doug. And he brings out the offense. Oh, no. But that's the beauty of Doug Peterson. That's why we are where we are today, because of him. And that was a ballsy, and I mean ballsy, play and decision out of Dougie P. And that's really where we started making a run and made some noise there. It sucks because really I thought that there was a moment in there we were going to squeak away with one, and I thought we could have. Really, I hate to dial back to that Nelson Agholor thing, but come on, man. And he's known to drop passes. That was an easy-ass touchdown, and we would have won the football game there. I can't believe it, though. I've never seen a game where we lost so many guys. Desean, Alshon Jeffery, Dallas Goedert. We're already down to one tight end before the game even starts. But then, even throughout the game, Carson Wentz got banged up. His ribs, he was grabbing his leg. He went to the tent. Josh McCown came in. Jason Kelce goes to the wrong sideline at one point. Tim Jernigan in the boot. Sidney Jones, he had a huge hit there, and he went into the tent to get looked at for a concussion. Nelson Agholor left for one moment. Jason Peters left for a moment. Andre Dillard came in. Wow, did we get banged up in this football game. It was a war out there, and I just have to tip my cap to both teams because they left it out there on the gridiron. I know the Falcons fans are going to have fun in the comments, and guess what? Have fun. Have fun, because I'm not even going to read half of them, because I know they're going to be troll jobs. I get it, because I stated we would come out there with a victory. But you know what? If you have intelligence, you understand that that game could have went either way. That game was a legit dog fight. It was insane. That's the beauty of football, the emotional roller coaster it brought you on. That's the beauty of it. And either team could have left that arena with a victory. It just so happened to not be the Eagles. But here's the thing. It's September football. For the millionth time, it's September football. This is a good moment for this team to build moving forward. How many championships are won in September? Zippo. This is a game where they can use for motivation, for determination to get better. And maybe, maybe it puts a little extra chip on their shoulder. Nelson Agholor needs to learn from this. Carson definitely had some moments where he struggled big time, but then he brought this team on a tear, and when he was locked in on that drive that put us in the end zone to take the lead, he saw, as a fan, you saw a different level of focus. You saw a different level of focus. And he's still learning. But he shows flashes of elite play. It just comes down to consistency. So, with that being said, let me know your thoughts down below. We are going to talk about this more, obviously. I'm going to have a podcast up tomorrow with Dan Robinson, also known as Shelfie. This is just my initial reaction, so I can't get it all out there, at once. I still need to let the emotions come down a little bit, right? Let that come down. Figure out some more information, learn about some injuries, listen to Doug Peterson, Carson Wentz speak. There's a lot to take, so I'm going to sleep on it. We're going to have the podcast tomorrow morning, so that'll be fun. There's a lot to talk about with this game. We're going to continue to do so. So let me know your thoughts. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new. See you next time.